If you value these conversations, subscribe and leave a review. It helps more than you think. This is the second half of the interview with Adriano. I'm not sure which of the two I like more, but the conversation raised my benchmark of what to expect from these podcasts, and I'm very pleased to share this with you. So years ago, you introduced me to the idea of Loro Piana. You remember we talked about Loro Piana. They had a factory in the USA. We talked about that. But that company blows my mind, and here's why. When I started in the industry, I worked in wool, and I went to a customer. I remember this so well, and the customer was laughing at Loro Piana at that time. This is in the 70s, because their sample was $10 a yard, and he said, "Oh, I can buy the same thing in Romania for $2," and like that. And then the next thing I know, the next time I really heard about Loro Piana is they sold the company for billions. So I keep thinking of that little guy in that crummy little office laughing at Loro Piana. Then fast forward 45 years later, and they sold the company for billions. So and the other guy's gone. So billions. So the question I have for you is, you're a mill, a denim mill. Why would you not want to go the Loro Piana route? Why would you be busy focusing on selling to the Gap or Wrangler when you're actually the brand? You're a real brand, like Zegna, like Loro Piana. Why would you not go and make your own stores, tell your own story, do it your way, and go for the gusto, go for the big win?
I totally agree. The only thing I have to say is a road that makes sense as long the mill have something to say. Means you need to have a very strong identity, a very strong product, and more than any other thing, the idea what going directly to retail to the retail is a very complex story. To make a brand is much more complex than running a mill, or let's say different. And the mentality that you need to have to the day that you make a brand is very different from the mentality that you have making a denim in a mill. So conceptually, I agree. I totally see a few mills in the world going to the consumers directly, as long they are able to get into the brand business in the right way. Today,
what is the right way?
In the right way means that I don't think that you can be successful opening a jean store, having a wall of different fits and different washes.
You can go to Selfridges for that, or the Gap.
It doesn't work. Basically, you have to set your mind according what a consumer would like to buy. That is not only about denim. For instance, there is an area that, in my opinion, is connected to the denim that is about colors. Colors is not only about a five-pocket jean. A mill can easily make a section, an important section, or even another mill making the PFD or piece dye. There are so many new processes today that could be an interesting option the day that you like to go to the market directly. So basically, you need to have the denim and the non-denim product in the same store with the same identity. Let's say it is a process that think about. I know very well because I was working with Loro Piana. I've been working with Zegna. It's not a process that started 2 years ago.
No. Honestly. And they didn't start with a lot of stores. They started, I guess, with one.
Exactly. Honestly, I think that a mill maybe should make a joint venture with somebody that knows very well the brand business.
Of course.
I'm talking about who bought Loro Piana, it is Louis Vuitton.
Yes.
And that's the way, honestly. I don't think that you hire a good designer and you are in business. It doesn't work that way. But for sure it's something to consider because probably is a way that a few of the best mills in the world could take it.
So I have another question when you talk about Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
The mentality, from what I can tell, and I'm not an expert at this, but the mentality that I see from Louis Vuitton is, besides money and success, is patience. That they take brands or buy brands that were patiently built over really long periods of time. In America, the owners of the brands, they want immediate success. They want quarterly success. They go mental if one quarter is not good and the next quarter, then they fire I don't know how many people and bring in a new designer or whatever they do. But this incessant.
Day and night is day and night. That's honestly is the difference between Europe and America.
Tell me.
America is fighting to quick dollars, you know, and obviously the priority is to make money in a short term. In Europe, we create money adding value to the brands. It's totally different game.
Totally.
Totally different game. And honestly, good luck to Americans because I don't think that is a right way to go. Today, the market needs a story, need culture, need know-how, need an aesthetic concept. You know, even and is not a kind of elitarian kind of thing because for me, fashion has to be democratic. It's not something that belongs only to the rich. Why a normal guy doesn't have the right to have good stuff? You know, I mean, and that is a very important concept, because I think that I believe that we are able today to bring at competitive prices very good and well-designed products. And the difference, between America and Europe is this: in America, squeezing the prices in order to be more competitive and increase the margins of your product. In Europe, it's totally different. We create the image of the brand, and we create a value on that.
And I find that the Europeans are much more patient.
Yeah, yeah, they are. I don't know if they are smarter or not, but they understand that they create a big money that way than the other. Consider also in Europe, a company like Zara in some ways going that way, even if they are competitive.
What do you mean?
Means that, for instance, a few days ago, I was in Milan at the Zara store. Looks amazing, you know, in terms of aesthetic proposal, display of the goods, quality of the goods, the design is very, very advanced. And so it is about what I'm saying that you bring high quality, a good design to the big public. And that, in my opinion, is a winning concept.
Freaked me out one time. I was with my wife in London. I think it was London. And she
Yeah.
was in Zara, and I was on my phone looking at the sports information. But we had just come from another store where we saw an American, I won't mention the brand, salvage denim, and it was selling for 250 pounds. And as I was sitting in the front of the store in Zara, reading my Toronto Maple Leafs information, I look up and there's a jean, the same salvage that was in the other store by Zara, and it was like 69 or 79 euros. The same.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
I
do
have a direct
up.
experience because, I'm working for an Italian company that is OVS. OVS is a very competitive brand. They have something like 1,500 stores in south of Europe, mostly in Italy. And I can tell you, because I'm working inside the company, their product is good. It means good quality, good construction, good design. And also, what is very, very important, they have a sustainable strategy that I love. That is no capsules. That for me is just bullshit, means you make a capsule that sells, I don't know, 1,000 pieces, that is super sustainable, but you keep going with your shit that is 99.9% of your production. The strategy of OVS is to improve slowly, step by step, the whole sustainable strategy of the whole company. For instance, a requirement today from OVS is 10% of the content in a fabric has to be recycled in all the store. So this one is something that is changing also, because we don't have to forget the power that big brands have on the industry. Because when you go to a supplier giving certain parameters, they have to do it if they like to have the business. And
Exactly.
so this one is bringing a big change. When I compare the way of working, you know better than me that in America they make a tech package, they send it out to 20 different factories, and then they pick the one that is more competitive.
Right.
Okay.
Right. You can also visit jeansland.co and sign up for our bi-weekly newsletter. It gives you access to our full archive, along with the development shifts and stories shaping the denim supply chain in real time. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram to stay connected between episodes. So we're talking about brands that you like. What do you think of Uniqlo?
Uniqlo, I like it, honestly.
What
like it.
parts do you like?
First of all, I like the design. That is simple, functional. It is what the people need. You know better than me, Uniqlo is using good fabrics.
I love their loyalty. I love
Yeah,
their.
that's exactly what I'm talking. At OVS, for instance, we create a partnership with a supplier. Partnership that has to last 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, And so together, we keep changing and shaping the industry. Of course, price is important, but it's not the only thing, you
Right.
know. Honestly, also what I think is when you make a product that is durable and have good quality, the customers are coming back.
Who owns OVS?
OVS is a public company, and part of OVS belongs to the CEO, that is Stefano Beraldo, that, in my opinion, is a genius, because he took this company that was just a superpower in off price, and he did exactly the opposite of people normally do. They start from a high level and they go down.
Right.
Okay. Beraldo did exactly the opposite,
That's fine.
because he started at a very low level, increasing, and bringing new customers. And think about that today. I don't know exactly the percentage, but they have in Italy a percentage of the market that is over 10%, 15%, something like that. That is gigantic.
So
You
what,
know the number.
so what happened in Italy to the brands like Diesel and Replay and companies like Miss 60? What is the story?
Let's say Replay, I see, in my opinion, is stable. They have a niche that is basically connected to the soccer players. You know, they have stores and they are able to keep their business stable. And diesel is totally different game because basically Renzo was bringing diesel into bringing diesel to be a player in the luxury game.
I see.
Of course, in that case, depend a lot from the ability of picking the right designers.
Right.
I don't know the numbers of diesel, but for sure they did a big progress in the last few years, being more brave, more innovative. I see, for instance, it's never too late, but they pushing a lot in terms of sustainability. They understand where they have to push. Let's say I see diesel like a leader in our segment for sure.
So that brings me to a big question. Italy was the engine for the jeans business growth after America. I mean,
Yeah.
after as jeans became global, we both remember that period when Levi started to sell everywhere. Um, Italy and Japan became two countries that really invested in the industry and really made the industry much, much bigger. Italy being
Yeah.
probably much more successful than Japan. What happened? I mean, Italy has a history of Martelli, the history of Legler, the history of
Yeah, yeah.
all sorts of brands, Benetton's growth, all these growth areas. What happened that Italy has become less, what's the word, in the middle of the new things?
Okay, it is very simple. In the 80s and early 90s, we in some way invented a different way to make the denim. And we've been very successful bringing creativity, typical things of Italian approach to the business, not only in the denim, but I would say in architecture and shoes, and is was bringing a point of view, and we've been extremely successful. Then Italy had a low because instead going up, they went down. Means that they've been trying to compete in the international world and been losers. Today uh, is a good time for Italy because as the luxury have an interest on the denim, Italy is coming the natural partner for the luxury business. It's not big volume, but it's a very high quality product. And let's say today, Italy, I see a kind of revival that is due to all the luxury brands. Not only, but also to the brands that in some way they are in a high level, even without being in the luxury segment. I'm talking about brands that they are $400, $500. That is something that slowly is happening also in America because we have a few brands like Veronica Bird or Kaiti, that they are at that price point. Honestly, it's a good time for Italy right now.
So I have to ask you this question because everyone that I know always jokes about it, but I don't know if they're telling the truth in their jokes or they have any idea. But an Italian factory producing are the people who are in that factory sewing or in the wash factories, are they Italian or where are they from?
So let's say, I would say no. Means, Italy had a very strong immigration in the last 20 years. And let's say Italy today, if you see an average factory, all the management is still Italian, but workers, I would say, are a big portion are immigrants. You know,
Recently, how recent? Like for example, I'm from Hungary. Okay, so you could say a Hungarian is doing my job, but I'm a Canadian citizen, and you're in America. You're Italian citizen. So my question is not really if they grew up in Italy. My question is, are they recent? Are they like from the last 2 years in Italy? The workers, you think, or are they the citizens or natural? Natural.
in Italy, for example, we have a lot of Chinese.
Okay.
Since honestly, there is a generation of Chinese guys that were born in Italy,
Right. That's what I'm
and
talking about. That's exactly what
uh,
I'm talking. That makes them Italian. Who cares
yeah.
what their ethnicity is? They're Italian. They moved to Italy. They became citizens. They participate. That's it.
I tell you one thing that happened to me in China. One day,
Yeah.
I went to visit a factory, and a Chinese guy came introducing himself, saying "Piacere Giovanni," means it was a Chinese guy coming from Italy with an Italian name and speaking very poor Chinese. And he decided to go back to China. So he had a very good education in Italy, and went back to China bringing an amazing know-how. By the way, I tell you one thing. You know that one of my daughters made the St. Martin School in London,
Yes.
and I went to visit the school one day. I'm talking about 10 years ago. I would say 60% of the students were Chinese. All these guys are in China today, working in design with a very good education. So, what I believe is mixing the things is beneficial for everybody.
Totally. And you gave me the perfect segue for my last question. Thank you. You
Yeah.
built the bridge. Young people who want to design and go to fashion school. What is the opportunity for them in our industry and where? What would you suggest a young person today to do? Let's go one by one. What is the opportunity for them?
Okay. Going out of school and thinking to go to work at Prada or Givenchy or any other famous brand, I think is a dream that happened for very, very few. My suggestion is pack your stuff and go 2 years for internship in a farm, in a spinning, in a factory that is weaving, in manufacturing, in a laundry, including a showroom. And we go to an important subject because, let's say, if you like to design jean, it's not about sketching. Denim is a very different subject in terms of design. You need to know the technology. You need to know which one are the possibilities that you have inventing or making a product. Who's going to pay for that? Because at the end, it is a problem. Probably the families are already exhausted because they paid the study in a design school. I think that by law, in some way, students they should have the 2 years paid in order to be ready to work and produce properly. So honestly, they need help. You know, means that financing and education should include also the training, especially for the denim. I know that is a dream, but my suggestion to a student is learn how it is. Because we have a common friend with in Amsterdam, and the guys they know how to wash, learn how to wash, learn, and they know how to make a jean. I'm sure that after that education, they have a better potential.
I agree with that actually. And I want to just say that we did, I can't say it's an experiment, but we did a process with a young person in our company, in our textile company, where he wanted to work in our business. First, he came as a financial student. So he worked in our financial department as an intern. And then he changed his studies to global sourcing. He liked fashion, oddly.
Yeah.
And then he came and he asked me for a job in his third year in university. And I got him a job at Cytex in Los Angeles. He worked in the factory for the summer. And
Oh,
then when he graduated, he asked me for a job. And I said, no way, you're not qualified. So we sent him to Turkey. He worked in Marash, in Kipash. He worked in the factory for 3 months. And
should
that
be
whole
on the
process of working in the garment factory, working in the textile factory was really, really helpful. And I think that you're right, that internship, or I call it apprenticeship, is amazing for our industry.
that should be the way, you know.
Adriano, I don't know how to thank you other than to say thank
Oh,
you,
it was a pleasure.
but I think it's a fun interview. I think it's great. And we covered a lot of ground. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It is a pleasure all the time to talk to you. You
Enjoy
are
it.
a good inspiration too.
Thank you. Thanks, Adriano.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.